Welcome to the Tach Impulse podcast, part of the scitrek family.
Our tachyon pulse has been unable to completely penetrate the anomaly.
6 months ago now, when I first started talking to you about Disney's displeasure with what we've so far got from Russell T Davies and Doctor Who. The David Tennant specials, the first season with Ncuti Gatwa, and the Christmas special. But yesterday, The Sun dropped a story, and The Sun is quite a large publication here in the UK, that is actually saying Ncuti Gatwa is ready to quit Doctor Who, and bosses are already warning crew that they're about to be made redundant. And the word on the street, according to an insider that The Sun has, is that they shouldn't expect Doctor Who to return for at least 5 years, and some believe it'll be more like 10. There is more in this story, because according to The Sun, Ncuti Gatwa has already filmed his regeneration sequence. He wants to go back to LA. He's got a lot of big Hollywood parts apparently all lined up, and he doesn't want the stigma of still being Doctor Who to be hanging over his head when he does relocate to Los Angeles. Now, I know a little bit about what's going on here because the sources and the people we get to speak to in the industry do have reasonably good links to this. And I've always said to you guys, if you're regular scitrackers going back years, the sources that we sort of looked into having good communication with generally do work in sort of legal and for talent agencies and things like this. So we do get to find out stuff that's going on a sort of a business level. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking to you about what Bad Wolf has planned if Disney do, in fact, decide not to renew their $100 million deal with the BBC. So, like and subscribe if you want to see that video. Disney has been putting on hold its decision regarding Doctor Who. And for anybody out there that's telling you that that decision has been made, I can tell you it's not true. Apparently Disney, and this is actually confirmed by The Sun, and I told you guys 2 or 3 weeks ago on this channel, Disney have actually not made a final decision. They keep just putting that decision on hold. Now, originally it was supposed to be done by the end of last summer. Series 1 dropped. It didn't get their best reviews, and Disney said, well, okay, we're going to hold off till Christmas because the BBC made a bunch of promises about the Christmas special saying, look, it's a lot more like Who. And it was. To be fair, it was. But it still wasn't great. Didn't as well get the best reviews. So Disney said, okay, we intend to wait until the second season drops. There have been new writers brought in. There has been a new direction. There's been a lot of that has been pushed on Bad Wolf and the BBC by Disney. Basically, Disney saying, look, if you want to deal, these are the things we want to see. And the hope is that it'll be received better and that some new deal with Disney can be negotiated. Now, I'm hearing that it is growing increasingly unlikely that Disney are going to do that, but they will not announce it until season 2 drops. Why? Well, they don't want to hurt the season. And basically announcing that, yeah, you ain't getting another season, it would hurt it. Basically, look, the show's getting cancelled. Less people will watch. And that is just the truth. So they won't announce. The other thing is, really, until the contract runs out, it is still contracted to Disney. They still own the international rights. So again, they're not going to do anything, and the BBC and Bad Wolf can't announce anything until that deal actually concludes. There would be penalties, etc., if they did. So, Ncuti Gatwa, has he filmed his regeneration sequence? I actually do agree with The Sun here, and I have heard from a couple of different sources that he has in fact filmed a regeneration sequence. But I've been told that actually the finale of the final episode of the season has 4 or 5 different episodes filmed. And that actually there were some reshoots as well, which again tweaked the ending. Why? because the BBC and Bad Wolf don't actually know what's going to happen for the third season. The Sun here says that Ncuti Gatwa wants to quit. He wants to run away from Doctor Who due to the negative publicity and the terrible ratings. I mean, the ratings haven't been great, but actually it's not full story. There have been some good ratings, bad ratings, some demographics has done okay. But even Russell T Davies has said, look, it's not been good enough. So I don't think, and what I'm told is that Ncuti Gatwa isn't running from Doctor Who. He would more than happily do a third season. And he's even talked about that in some interviews, even though those interviews were then cut. So, it does look like they just don't know what's going to happen when the second season drops. So, they have filmed a couple of different endings that really will allow them to put out what they need to come that point. Now, I think they will have decided which ending they're going to go with soon, if they haven't already. Ncuti Gatwa, though, filmed this a little while ago, so it isn't really based on whatever he's thinking now, if that makes sense. This was a precautionary, pragmatic approach nearly a year ago when it was decided to do this, because of the rumblings they were hearing from Disney and the fact that the BBC won't pay for Doctor Who if Disney pull out. The BBC only pay roughly now about a third of the production costs, and I know Russell T Davies has said that if the BBC pulls out, we'll just have to revert to, smaller stories. He said something about claustrophobic ghost stories or something. And that's fine. The BBC could do that, but I'm being told they won't. What they will do is they will look for another partner. And that's what I'm going to talk about in the next video, because Bad Wolf is actually already actively doing that. So, in summary, where are we at with Doctor Who? The situation hasn't really changed, but the fact that now major publications like The Sun are starting to talk about what we've been talking about as YouTubers for about 6 months, and we've been talking about in this channel for quite a long time, is really a major indicator that we are getting closer and closer to that final point where this will have to be announced in some way by Disney, Bad Wolf and the BBC. Even though I would argue Doctor Who has not gone well over the last few years, it is still a beloved franchise and a beloved character. And this restart that was planned with Dane Tennant coming back and this new Doctor in Ncuti Gatwa, it hasn't gone well. And we're never going to probably get back to some of the viewing figures that they got under Tennant and Matt Smith, even those few years ago. But they were hoping for more than this. In The Sun, it talked about shoehorned in wokery stories, an agenda overtaking the story. That is definitely the case. Woke is a word, I hate being used in this term, but actually it's hard to deny that was the case. I think Ncuti Gatwa is a very good actor. I just don't think he's Doctor Who. But let's see what happens in the coming months. The second season will drop, and I think we will hear something very, very quickly at about the same time. But guys, get into the comments, tell me what you think. Is Ncuti Gatwa time to move on? Is it time for a regeneration and a new Doctor? Or actually, should we wait and see what the third season does? Because that seems to be what Disney are planning to do. To wait and see. Get into the comments and tell me exactly what you think. If you are new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, but that bell notification really helps us out, and you'll never miss any of our new videos. Also, you can go to patreon.com/scitrek, where most of our new videos do premiere first, and you get to see them without the adverts. As always, please stay safe, and I'll see you next time.